Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden blueprint behind a really surprising social movement, one that's quietly changing how we think about connection. And it all starts with a simple, very human need. Think about it. We are living in the most digitally connected time in all of human history. And yet, so many of us feel more isolated than ever. We've got these endless feeds, but we're starving for real, genuine contact. So, what is going on here? Well, believe it or not, one of the most unexpected answers to that question is something called a cuddle party. Now, before your mind jumps to all sorts of conclusions, let me be super clear. These events are almost certainly not what you think they are. For explorers, we're about to look at the hidden system that actually makes them work. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll touch on the connection crisis we're all feeling. Then, we'll explore this really important idea called the third place. After that, we'll go inside a cuddle party, break down its rulebook, and finally see how the skills you learn there apply to the real world. It's a solid plan, so let's dive right in. So first off, why do these events even exist? Well, scientists and sociologists have been talking about this growing problem called touch deprivation, or skin hunger. It's a real, documented need for physical human contact that, for a lot of people, just isn't being met. And a huge piece of this puzzle, a major reason for this disconnection, is the slow disappearance of what sociologists call the third place. Now, this is a core concept, and once you get it, the whole picture starts to make a lot more sense. A sociologist named Ray Oldenburg came up with the term. And for strategists, for anyone who loves a good framework, this is for you. He said we all need 3 crucial spheres for a healthy life. Your first place, that's home. Your second place is work. But the third place, that's the magic one. It's that informal public space where community just happens. Think coffee shops, parks, libraries, you name it. And what's so great about this chart is how clearly it lays out the different vibes. Home is private, right? Work is all about productivity and getting things done. But that third place, that's where we get to be social and playful with none of those other pressures. It's basically society's living room. But here's the kicker. These places are disappearing. Over the last several decades, we've seen this steady drop-off in bowling alleys, church attendance, civic clubs, all those classic neighborhood hangouts. We've basically engineered community right out of our daily lives. And into this gap steps the cuddle party. Now, what most people have no idea about is that this isn't just some casual get-together. Nope, it's a highly structured, carefully facilitated workshop. This is where we get to peek behind the curtain at that hidden system I mentioned. And for settlers, for anyone out there who values safety and knowing exactly what to expect, this is so important. Every single event follows this clear 3-part structure. It always starts with the welcome circle. That's a mandatory workshop on the rules. Then you have the freestyle, self-directed time. And it always wraps up with a closing circle to kind of process everything. It's a safe and predictable format every time. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? It shows you how seriously they take creating a safe space. They call it a closed container. If you aren't there for that initial rule-setting workshop, you can't come in. It's that simple. Everybody has to be on the exact same page from the very beginning. The whole system is built on these 11 core agreements. But don't just think of them as a list of rules. For strategists, a better way to think about them is as a new social operating system. It's a code designed from the ground up for clarity, respect, and safety. This is what runs the entire experience. So here are a few of the big ones. First, pajamas stay on the whole time. Second, and this is huge, you don't have to cuddle anyone, ever. You can just hang out. Next, every single touch requires asking permission and getting a verbal yes. And maybe the most important one, you are always encouraged to change your mind. A yes right now isn't a contract for later. But out of all the rules, there's one rule that is so counterintuitive and so powerful it completely changes the entire dynamic of how people interact. And that is rule number 5. And here it is. If you're a maybe, you have to say no. This is the absolute linchpin. It totally eliminates the pressure of the maybe. You know, that awkward gray area where we often say yes just to be polite or avoid hurting someone's feelings. For social smarts, this one little rule gives everybody permission to put their own comfort first, without any guilt. It's a complete game changer. And this is the other half of that genius design. When someone tells you no, there's actually a scripted response. You're taught to say, "Thank you for taking care of yourself." It completely reframes rejection. It's not a personal insult, it's an act of self-care that should actually be appreciated. For social smarts, just imagine using that in your everyday life. Which brings us to the real payoff, because you see, this was never just about cuddling. It's a cuddle lab. It's a safe, low-stakes place to practice really high-stakes communication skills that you can then take with you absolutely everywhere. Okay, let's really connect the dots here. Practicing how to ask for exactly what you want, that translates directly to negotiating a raise. Getting comfortable saying a clear and guilt-free no, that's how you gracefully end a bad date. Learning to set clear boundaries, that helps you protect your time and energy with your own family. This is basically a practical workshop for life skills. So when you zoom all the way out, you can see that cuddle parties aren't just some quirky trend. They are a very deliberate, highly structured attempt to build the kinds of safe, informal, and deeply connective third places that our society is so clearly missing right now. And that leaves us with one last big thought to chew on. We talk all the time about needing more connection to fight loneliness. But what if the missing ingredient isn't just about quantity? What if the real answer, the blueprint we've been looking for, is learning how to create safer connection?
If this touched your heart, please subscribe, like, and share it with your family. Save this for more meaningful content ahead.